What I want to talk about today is I try to give a different perspective on ad technology. You all know Adtech people have the tendency to make their life complex. Yeah, we're looking at a very complex ecosystem, a lot of actors in the space, a lot of vendors, and sometimes it's then very hard to keep the overview and to say, okay, if I'm doing Adtech, why I'm doing it, what we're going to do with it. And I want to give the perspective from RTL Group. We are the biggest broadcasting group in Europe. Overall, we make like 6.6 billion euro revenue. I think half of it is roughly TV advertising. So for us, with the disruption of TV and TV getting digital, roughly 3 billion euro advertising revenue are at stake. And we have a high interest in making sure that we can control how this transition is happening. And I try to give this perspective by today, okay, what are we doing in that space? And I will start with a small bit of context about smartclip. I had to make an oath to the IAB that I not try to sell anything. I don't. If I do, throw your wine at me. I will talk a bit about what the context is for smartclip, what our mission is, but keep it really rather short. Then the second part will be, what do we believe, why we want to do Adtech, and what our core beliefs are, how we approach the Adtech thing. And last, I want to give a concrete example, and I will try not to sell it, about what we are doing right now regarding programmatic TV. Yeah, just a bit, sorry, I need to, there we are. There we are, sorry. Just a bit about background about smartclip. A lot of people know smartclip's media business. Yeah? So we have been founded in 2008. We were a sales house for digital video advertising, one of the first who were aggregating it across different publishers. And so here in Spain, smartclip is very popular. It's one of the leading sales houses for video. That is what a lot of people know. What not everybody is knowing, that since 2019, we have been tasked to build the ad technology for RTL Group, which is something, if you would have asked me that, like 2018, when we were supposed to be merged with Spotics, and we were supposed to be undone in the Spotics organization, which is a great company, by the way, we really liked it. But if you would have asked me at this time that this is ever going to happen, I would have never thought that. And if you see that we started as a technology organization, serving an ad network, now really having to build their technology for a whole of RTL Group, it has been quite a journey for us. Interestingly, we are not alone with that anymore. So we have acquired, RTL Group has acquired YoSpace, which the people of you who are familiar with the broadcasting ad tech space is server-side ad insertion. 3 weeks ago, we acquired Realytics, a French company who is doing attribution and more than that. I just tackled that a bit in the end of the presentation. But we also believe that we should not do everything alone. So we have a Moby here, a Piper here. With the Moby together, we are in the DSP project. I will talk about it a bit later. But we also have local initiatives with the German guys from DForce. Very nice to have the colleagues here as well, where we are collaborating on the DSP space and collaborating on building solutions for programmatic TV. We're not only doing Adtech for RTL Group, so very proud that we're, for example, also doing the ad serving, the video ad serving and SSP part for RAI, which was for us really, really an interesting client. So we try to be really part of the ecosystem and working with a lot of partners in different aspects as technology provider, monetization partner, and so on. And that's it about smartclip. What are we supposed to do? So when the decision has been made to say, okay, you guys are building our technology, we agreed on 3 goals. The number 1 goal was that before we came, every company within RTL was basically reinventing ad technology. Yeah? And you can imagine everybody working with a lot of different vendors, everybody having a completely different perspective. That was nothing which was supposed to scale. So the first step, what we started to do is to roll out our solution into more of the RTL countries and not only Germany. So today we are working, for example, for RTL Netherlands. We are also working for RTL Connect, and we are rolling out our technology step by step across the RTL universe. The second part is we believe in alliances. Yeah? So we also think that building technology for RTL is nice. Ideally, if you really want to protect the ecosystem, you should be able to do it at a European scale. That is the one and the only reason why we do Adtech also for external partners, for companies like RAI, because we are looking for people who are searching and looking for a similar market approach as we do, because we think if we have a European scale in our approach, it's much easier to defend our core business. And last but not least, we try to innovate. So one of the goals was clearly, hey guys, it's nice that you're doing the business for us, but it always needs to be competitive, and you need to be sure that you are really keeping pace with the innovation which all your competitors are doing. And it's not easy. Our competitors are Google and very established companies like Freewheel. So what do we believe about Adtech? The first belief is broadcasters will survive. I mean, it's really nice. If you come from a startup organization, you are hired by a broadcaster, you are integrated into the broadcaster organization. Adtech people have this pitiful, sorrowful look at you. Like, oh, you're working for this dying business. Poor you. Oh, is it very tough? No, we don't think we are dying. And yes, it's tough, but I think it's rather an interesting opportunity where we are in than anything else. The first thing is, we believe we will survive because we have the best brand building product in the world. Everybody who wants to build a brand needs TV. And it is independent of linear TV and how you consume it. The TV advertising product is a strong one. Though everybody knows if you want to get reach, if you want to get awareness, you need to have big emotional advertisings on a big screen. Sorry. The second part, what we also see, and it's already happening, that the advertising experience on long-form content is converging between digital and linear TV. Who is using YouTube? Who of you is regularly using YouTube? Did you see what's happening with the ad load on YouTube? It's now 2 pre-rolls, mid-rolls after 2 minutes, post-rolls. It's basically almost the same experience which you have when you watch long-form content on TV. And technically, this is a very interesting and it's good news, because that means we believe that any solution which we build will scale across every distribution channel. For us, it's a good news. The second thing is, yes, linear TV is shrinking. We still see that there are events and moments where linear TV is wanted. If linear TV would have been an unwanted product, it would have died with the rise of the videotape. Yeah? Because you can make your own program decisions since 30 years. But what we see is just the way how it is used and how it is consumed. This will change, and of course, the reach will shrink, but it will remain as an important pillar of our reach, which means we have to build solutions for it. We cannot just focus on CTV, OTT. We need to always encompass the linear TV space as well. We think the big screen will survive. We did a market study just a couple of months ago where we were analyzing the behavior in the living room during the pandemic. And the big screen as a social event has kept its importance. Yeah? So big screen TV will be something which will keep its importance also as a place to be for brands. My personal belief is, it's nothing official, is that in 2 years from now, and for young consumers, broadcaster and streaming services are indifferentiable. They are the same. When I look at my kids, they are not watching TV. They are watching Disney Plus if they want to see if they want to have child content. They watch RTL Plus if they want to see some entertainment content, and they watch Netflix if they want to see some youth content. So I don't think that there will be any difference along that in the future. So we are not understanding us anymore as a broadcaster. We just think these two will come from different directions. It will be the same. So for us, we think we can become stronger than ever if we invest in content. And everybody who follows RTL Group knows we heavily do. Fremantle is one of our strongest growing businesses. And if we keep a clear profile, and if we manage to, control the technologies which are distributing these contents. So yes, overall, we think there will be another wave of consolidation, and that will be a good time for us. Overall, we think we have a good space and a good, very interesting opportunity we are in. Of course, the life is changing, the market is changing, but we do not think that our positioning is bad. That's a bit of a complex slide. Was thinking to use it or not, but it's important to understand that we don't think that we have to build Adtech to sell Adtech. If we develop ad technology, we are following a strategic blueprint. What you've seen is that in France, RTL Group has decided to merge their business MCs with their biggest competitor, TF1. You cannot imagine, if you're not connected to the French market, you cannot imagine how big this move was. Long-standing competitors, since 30 years, not trying to really grab each other, every meter of the business, suddenly are supposed to be merged because we think this is the scale which we need to be able to compete against our big American competitors. Very bold from my point of view, and it shows how serious we are in really trying to create the change of the market. And what we think regarding the Adtech thing is, there's a local business, this needs to be very strong, and on the other side, we need to support the broadcasters with international media services, like content creation, which Fremantle is doing, like international demand. So we will merge the smart media businesses. That's not affecting the same entity because this belongs to Andres, but we will merge our smart media business in the other countries with RTL Connect and create an international sales house, which is then feeding these advertisers locally. So it's, for us, also something where we really try to create a market. And on the other side, there are the technologies. I don't know if you are familiar with Bedrock. We think we should own streaming technologies. Yeah? For us, being in a recommendation engine of a streaming service where we have no control about the distribution chain is a very risky thing. So we think we need to control it. Therefore, we have Bedrock, which is building basically streaming solutions. And on the other side, we have the Adtech portfolio. So we think we need to control the core technologies. And as I said, it's an ambitious vision. My third belief is, sorry for saying that, sitting here with a lot of people from the online advertising industry, we cannot continue with programmatic advertising for TV as we did in the past. I'm always smiling so much about our industry, complaining about the privacy regulations which are coming up. Honestly, that was us. Yeah? So that is our own fault, that we are in this situation now, that we have to fight with regulators for every single data point. I think we didn't do it well. You know all the problems, I don't want to repeat them, but for us, if we want to bring a $3 billion business to digital, we cannot repeat these mistakes. It's very simple for us. So if you then say that is your belief, you come to our belief number 4, which is we think we need to control the value chain. Why are we not just finding a DSP partner and making a contract with him, but instead are establishing in Germany a joint venture with dForce, internationally a joint venture with Amobi? Because we need to have influence how TV is marketed in the programmatic value chain. We want to control this. And therefore, we decided that we are having to move away just from building supply-side technology, which would be natural for us as being working for the supply side, and also acquire or closely collaborate with buy-side technologies. So what are we doing? And I said, I'm not trying to sell that, I'm not just trying to give you some examples of what we're working at and how we try to solve it. Yeah? Of course, for us, the most important part is being able to have our cash cow, the linear TV ad break, working perfectly in a digital environment as well. And that doesn't just mean that you say, I need to have an ad pod, I have to fill the ad pod with certain ads, abide by certain rules. The piece of art is to do it in combination in a hybrid model with a linear TV ad break. And that is what we do. We are connected to the linear playout systems of the broadcasters. We know which ad break is coming, we know which ads are in the break, and we are able to replace single ads within this break with our ad serving technology based on target group information, based on business rules which have been defined, and so on. And I have to say, a lot of people state they do it. We really do it at scale, on like 10 million devices in Germany, on a lot of million devices in Spain. I would need to find out the numbers. So we are really doing it as a scalable approach. And it is right now, if you are an Adtech product guy, the most exciting project you can be in. So I'm always saying, Ellen, the two of us, we are having the most exciting job in Adtech in Europe. Something which is very interesting, but it's not only about the technology. The question is always, how do you adapt? And you cannot imagine how much change it is for a broadcaster who has two different approaches to sell, suddenly to develop an approach which is merging the two worlds of linear sales and digital sales. And it's an absolutely complicated process which is behind there, so it's a challenge for broadcasters to do that. But this is something where we say, we need to do this now, we need to go through this now. Let's talk about programmatic. Yeah? So TV has to go programmatic. Everybody loves programmatic, cool, so we need to do that. If you remember the promises of the programmatic ecosystem 12 years ago, we were building the first programmatic solutions in Europe in another company. People were standing on stage, there it is. The ultimate solution. You just put your tech in the SSP, you don't set the floor price, and everything will be fine. Well, it was not really how it turned out to be. Yeah? So now you have ad verification vendors, you need to have a scientific certificate to be a campaign debugger in programmatic advertising. So the world not fully turned out to the promises and the hopes which we had. And so we say, okay, we need to develop a different approach to programmatic. The first thing which we did is we agreed with Amobi, found a joint venture, worked together on this topic, and Amobi shares our view of saying we need to have a broadcaster-centric approach to programmatic. The first thing what we changed is the buying experience. So as I said, trafficking a campaign in a DSP is an expert tool right now. You need to have expert knowledge to be able to do it. What we are now doing with Amobi is completely different. We are just pushing programmatic products into the Amobi DSP. There is a different part which is called the storefront, and there you can shop linear TV advertising, digital linear TV advertising, digital premium video advertising, anything, through a 4-click experience, like you shop something on Amazon. You just choose the product words which you are, you modify a bit of the settings, you enter a budget, and you say, this is what I want to buy. And the full negotiation process is happening automatically. Super simple. We think it's needed. We want to have an experience which is closer to that what brands are used today if they buy something ROI-driven on YouTube or on Facebook. That's one thing. The other thing is what we are solving with that, it's happening at European scale. Before executing a digital campaign across 4 different regions in Europe has been a nightmare because you had to sell and negotiate with every single broadcaster sales team to get it up and running. That was what RTL Ad Connect was doing, but the process was not scaling at all. This is now fully automating that process. You can buy inventory in, I don't know, Spain, Netherlands, Germany, whoever is connected, directly with 1 click out of 1 user interface. And we just think this is the way it should be. Buying should be simple. Also buying linear TV should be simple. So we really need to change that. The second part, and that is our piece of the game, is that the products which are pushed to the Amobi DSP are defined by the broadcaster. So the broadcaster sales house is having the discussions with the buyer and saying, oh, how you want to do it, or they are building promotions, and they are determining what is possible, which data providers can be used, which targeting settings are allowed, and so on and so forth. So it's the first time that we make the supply-side partner in control, we brought them in control on how their products are sold programmatically. We think you should have product control. You should control it, how the things are showing up in a DSP. And what Amobi did, what we really like, is that they are deactivating features. So if you are buying our ATV inventory, certain features are suddenly not available in the Amobi DSP anymore. So it is really interactive, and there is control of the broadcaster on how the product is sold, which data providers are there, and so on and so forth, and also in a really, really simple experience. So we think we try to change that. Yeah? It's coming now in June. Sorry, let me just go back. We really try to change that, and let's see how it goes. We think it's bringing a lot of advantages. On the one hand, you get premium content, TV content at EU scale. We think it's much simpler, and you can also use first-party data from the broadcaster as a buyer, but the way it is provided to you is controlled, also in line with the privacy discussions which we have. For the broadcaster, of course, a lot of advantages. Yeah? So we have data control, we have a controlled approach to programmatic TV, because we can control how the product looks like, and we can have a very simple way to make our inventories available on a European scale. So hopefully, this is working out well, and we will start in June with the first international campaigns. The product is ready, and let's see how the market is reacting to it. Last but not least, and then I stop, is we just acquired a company 3 weeks ago, Realytics, which is an attribution company. What these guys are doing, which is not new, they are measuring the impact of TV spots on the advertiser website. For us, it's absolutely vital to have this information. Normally, everybody would say, what is a supply-side player doing with attribution technology, which is addressing the buy-side? If we want to build an ad server which is able to optimize decisioning across digital TV and linear TV, we need to know the output and the impact of our campaigns. And the acquisition of Realytics is providing these data points to us. Yeah? So for us, in the end, the way we are seeing advertising is we want to have a holistic advertising approach, completely data-driven, across the digital TV space, but also including linear TV buying. We think everything which needs to be done must follow the latest paradigm of advertising, being simple, being data-driven, and being international and scaling up easily for everybody. And that's it. I hope I didn't oversold it, so no beers which hit me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Thomas.